All right, we're live. Honda Classic, Joe Idoni, Tour Picks is here. On some real, I'm having a lot of trouble pronouncing cosnative. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, I really have some issues pronouncing it.
It's a terrible name for a tournament.
Like, it does not roll off the tongue, and I have pronunciation issues with like certain words, and that
Yeah.
is one of them. I can't get it right.
I've in the articles that I've written like spelled it wrong every time I've tried to write it this week. I'm not quite sure if they're going to go with the Cognizant Classic. What's the point of having of the Palm Beaches in
Yeah,
there? It's a mess, BK. But I still am hopeful that when I get inside those gates this week, that it's the same old tournament that I know and
yeah.
love. And I hope it will be. We have a great field, but yeah, it does not feel right.
No, not at all. Like I'm naming this pod. It's gonna be the Honda Classic. I'm giving it 1 year. I think just for the first year, it's better. Like if the SEO is a little bit off, like that might
Yeah.
not be ideal, but I can live with it just because I'm a Honda guy. I drive a Honda. My dad's always been a Honda guy. They're great cars. They're
Great
truly
people, great cars.
they're truly great cars. Like I got 150,000 miles on my Honda Accord. Like it's
Let's
and
go.
every time my dad drives, he's like, it runs so well. Like I can't believe how well it runs at 150,000 miles. So I'm sad to see
Yeah.
Honda go, but I guess this IT company that's hard to pronounce for me. It's just a new era. It's just a new era for the West Palm Beach Classic.
A new era. I will say, like, it kind of sucks that the Honda didn't stick around because this is a better field. I think that their positioning in the schedule, like the last 5 years, we've followed Riviera. We've been between
Yeah.
Riviera and Bay Hill. So this breather of having Mexico in between, I think was a huge help for the field. I think that eventually I'm hopeful that they'll get one of these signature events one of these
Yeah.
years, and we'll get a really good field to take on this place. But yeah, I mean, 60 plus years running this event and being the lead sponsor, the longest running one on tour. So it was definitely sad to see them go. And I wish they could have figured out a way to keep them around, but it is what it is, bro.
Yeah, honestly, like I don't think it's that bad of a spot in the schedule. Like playing 3 weeks in a row isn't completely unheard of. And I think a lot of guys are choosing between this and Valspar. Like I think this is a better spot than Valspar because Valspar is a letdown from the players.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, you could theoretically be like, I want to play Honda to get my game right for Bay Hill and the players. So I actually
Yeah.
think it should be an elevated event. I think they will give it to them within the next couple of years if
Right.
PGA Tour is still a thing. But
Yeah.
Mexico as a little buffer, I think, was a good move from the PGA Tour because you had really good West Coast events,
Yes.
shit Mexico events, really good Florida events. Like I like the spot actually.
Yeah, it's tough because they'll never probably take it away from Riv. They'll never
Yeah,
probably take it away from Bay Hill. But I agree with you. I think players would be better suited. Like, it's so different. And like Powers was down here today, could attest to like the awkwardness of Bermuda grass. But it's so different going from playing on the West Coast to here that, in my opinion, players would benefit from playing this event and then
yeah,
going to a massive field with a massive payday potential at Bay Hill, and then the biggest purse of the entire year at the players. Like, I would want those Bermuda grass reps under my belt, and a lot of them live here, so it's a home game. So like I say the same story every year, hoping that like some of these guys would just be like, yeah, let me play there.
yeah.
But it just doesn't happen.
Yeah. No, I'm happy with the field this year. So big golf match today. Powers
Yeah.
is down in Florida. Baroff, who I'm friends with, we talk about golf a lot. He doesn't usually get out. Like he must have had to plan with the wife, with the kids, take off from work because he said he doesn't play a lot of golf. So special occasions today. Where did you guys play? What was the match type? What was the pop situation? Like
Yeah.
what was going on in this threesome today?
Baroff he's been quietly like sneaking in some practice rounds, gearing up
Wow.
for this. So we played at this course, Atlantic National in Palm Beach. solid. Haven't been there in forever, but it was perfectly fine. First time I met CP in person, we got there to play. Me and Chris are both basically like 9 handicaps.
Yeah.
Ryan's a 3 or a 4, so he gave us like 2 aside, and we played individual matches. We both lost to Ryan. I mean, Ryan had
Okay.
3 birdies and an eagle and shot
Okay.
like 4 over par. He had like 3 doubles, but the way we were playing the match,
Yeah.
he was unbelievable. Powers and I had moments of decent, like a little par run, and then we would make our doubles and triples kind of like we do. But it was a fun morning with the boys to get out on a Tuesday morning.
Yeah, no, I've Powers is a great guy to play with. Powers is a great guy to be around. Shout out CP.
Yep.
Bear off, he flashes. Like, he's
Brilliant.
a talented golfer. The potential's in there. It's really just a matter of when it's gonna come out.
Yeah.
So I'm glad he flashed it because I'm sure he was jacked up to take your guys' money and to put together a new round. What happened with the Eagle? Like, was it like a chip? Was it like a
Third
straight up?
hole, he holed out from like 110 yards. I had this thing where I couldn't see shit. It was early in the
Okay.
morning and like the glare, and like I could see nothing. I couldn't see my ball for like the first 5 holes. And I'm standing next to Powers, and he was like, "Holy shit, I think that just went in." And Ryan had sort of a modest celebration, but we couldn't really see. So we pulled up there. It was probably 100 yards out, and sure enough, drained it, man.
Just dunked it.
Dunked it. Yeah, his ball mark was like maybe 3 or 4 feet in front of the hole. It's a good shot.
Yeah,
He had a bunch of
I've
them.
never done anything even remotely close to that in my life.
Yeah.
So that's pretty sick. But I wish it was like you were all in the car together, like right behind it, and like you all saw it go in. So I feel bad that it wasn't, the greatest theatrics, I guess.
He had some theatrics. He made 3 twos on his card, including the eagle hole.
Elite iron play is what you're telling me.
Elite iron play, but
play
we
RB on
counted
elite
too. I mean,
iron
we had
play
the final
courses.
hole was like 550 into the little bit of a wind, and he's like greenside in 2. He's like chipping.
Wow.
So yeah, we were at a big disadvantage today.
Yeah, no, good for him. I'm proud of him for his round today.
Yeah.
I 60 degrees in New York this Sunday.
Thanks.
So global warming's kind of switching things around a little bit. So it's gonna be golf season soon up north. And I'll play in 50 degrees. Like I would say 45 degrees is kind of my minimum, is like I'm not playing in 45 or below, but anything above 45, little sun out, I'm down to get some reps in. So I'm
Why don't
excited
you come to one
this.
of these Florida events one of these years?
Yeah,
I know you're a big like travel to West Coast guy. I know you're out there at Riv. You've got tall boy Mick Ultras in every shot behind Patrick.
Not Mick Ultras.
What were those?
I'm out Delos.
Okay, it was tall boy Della. Okay, it was tall boy Della, but every shot you were carrying it strong. Power stance, sunglasses on, right there behind Cantley. We got to get you to Florida. We were talking about a little meet up at the Players in a few weeks. We could get a crew.
No, so it's tough because after going to Jenny, I was like, I would go to Jenny every year just because like my friend lives out there, like Andy's out there, RK's out there, Riv's awesome. Like I like LA.
Okay, what was the vibe though? Because the vibe on TV looked like Jenny was boring. Like I'll be honest with you, they looked like the fans were not into it at all. It looked like everyone was like kind of stoned and like just chilling and sitting down. And like the vibe in Florida or Arizona is like, let's party. Like everyone's here to party. It's loud. People are annoying the players because they're talking. It's a different vibe.
Out.
Yeah.
No, 100%. Like it is a very chill, lax environment. I've gone to a lot of tournaments. Like the least amount of yelling at golfers, the least amount of heckling. It's just like everything's just like subdued there. Like I don't think people in LA love golf. Like I don't think they're like starved for a golf tournament to come to town. It's kind of just like a chill thing to do, like have some beers and walk around, but they're not like, yo, I'm like betting like 750 on like this random matchup. And like, it just, everything's like, people are definitely high 100%. It's definitely a laid back vibe. But I kind of like that, honestly. Like, I don't like a super raucous crowd. So I should rotate. I honestly would do the players if I came down because I heard that's a great viewing experience. I
Me too.
haven't,
I haven't been.
um, obviously, I know some people down there, so maybe next year we could switch it up. We'll do the LA trip another time. But my aunt lives in Ballin Isles, which is
Really?
legit across the street
They
from.
like shuttle people from Ballin Isles into
Yes,
the gates.
no. Every time I see, because she like does half the year, she's like, Brian, you gotta come down. The
Oh,
Ponder
bro.
Classic is right across the street. Like, look, I'm like, no, you're right. You're right. I should come down. I gotta next year.
Yeah.
Players, I'll. That's not close. I would have to come down to
No, it's not
Bahamas.
close. You'd have to come to
Okay.
the cog, man.
Okay. The cog. Yes. Yes. We're back. We're back in the cog 100%.
All right.
I needed a name for it. Like the cog absolutely works. I'm in on that 100%. Thank you for that. Thank you. Truly.
Got it.
That's a great name. The cog. Mexico Open last week.
Yeah.
You hit Jake Knapp. Big winner to start the year. I know outright winners on golf Twitter have been like few and far between. So how nice was it getting a win last week with
It was nice. It was
Napper's
probably, I would say, the longest drought I've been on since I started like posting pics on
Okay.
golf Twitter, and it ends with Jake Knapp. I would have never thought that would be the guy to break the streak. It's never easy. Like that's the thing. Like it's never easy. And when you think he's got it wrapped up, he certainly doesn't. And then he comes back, and I'm like, I'm always in this position because I don't hedge. So I'm like, fuck, I should have hedged. I'm a fucking idiot. People are telling me to hedge all day the day before and showing me screenshots of them cashing out on Hard Rock. And I'm like, I'm such an idiot. I'm gonna lose this. They're paying out like 70% of the bet. But yeah, it worked out. I was due for it. I had hit so many seconds. I had lost in like 4 playoffs. It was long overdue. So happy to be like, it gave me a little bolt of like a little shot of B12 right in the ass to like get back into this week.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can find another one.
Yeah, no, always good to hit a winner. Like Jake Knapp last week, it was just like a perfect handicap of just like this course has produced X winner and you have to be super long. And this guy, Jake Knapp, who no one knew existed like 2 months ago, comes out and pops 2 weeks. And it's like the one thing about it is like, yo, this guy is elite off the tee. Like he is so long. Like, let's just bet him here. Like, I don't know if you were locked into him like pre-week, if you were thinking about him. What did you think his odds would be, though, for Mexico? Like, were you surprised how short he was?
Yes, I was surprised how short he was. I was hoping to get like 50 plus. But it came apart, and you just kind of compare it to those other guys around him who were also 40. And I'm like, I don't know much at all about him. I think that he's going to be a great course fit. Now, I didn't see him gaining like 1 million strokes on approach. I knew he was going to be like long and like crush it off the tee there, but I didn't see him having like one of the most nuclear Saturdays with his irons that I've ever seen. I mean, dude was like 192 yards to 2 feet, and he did that like 6 times. Like it was unbelievable. And he held on for dear life, like you would expect a player to. You expect him to kind of go through that in his first PGA Tour experience with a 4-stroke lead. Like that's obviously a stressful situation. But I think that he managed it, and we got kind of lucky with a few Valimaki like misses late. But that's the craziness, right? Because you can have Sammy Valimaki who, like, if Will Zalatoris doesn't withdraw because Zalatoris plays well at Genesis, Valimaki never gets in that field. He was like,
really? I didn't know
in.
that.
Yeah, he got in when Willie Z got out.
Wow. Okay.
And then all of a sudden he's there, right? He's right there. He's tied for the lead with 9 holes to go. So it's crazy. Like golf betting right now is just insane with the amount of names and the guys who we've been seeing on the end of leaderboards. We've got the drama, but it's not like we're not getting like Xander versus Scheffler drama. We're getting like Valimaki versus Knapp drama, which is different. And I think it's kind of shown in the ratings. Like they're way down, right? I saw Mexico was down like 500,000 people. Even Riv was way down from the year prior. And I think it's a product of just like people don't know these guys.
Yeah, no, 100%. I honestly just I'm at the point where the PGA Tour just is what it is. Like it's not like it used to be. Every week isn't going to be a
Yeah.
crazy banger, and it's still extremely entertaining for how we like to watch golf.
Right.
But to my average friends that like golf,
Same.
they legitimately did not know a name on the Mexico Open leaderboard. Now, at the same time, it's the Mexico Open, but even just the past 2 years, it was like a Finau Rom duel.
Right.
And it's like, okay, like that's like kind of compelling TV, even though it's just in some random course in Mexico that has zero identity and it's just not going to be a big event. Like it just changed. And I think that, the elevated events haven't been, unbelievable this year to no one's fault. It's just kind of the way it's panned out. But at the end of the day, like this is just the reality of the golf world. And the PGA Tour just isn't that amazing anymore.
Yeah.
It's just
It's
not.
a fact,
Um,
dude.
it's just, but I know for a fact Saturday and Sunday this week, like I'm going to be locked into Honda and
Yeah.
watching, even if I don't have a guy in the mix, just because it's incredible drama. Like
It is.
I know that I'll enjoy watching it. It's just for the casual fan. It's just that it just hasn't been the same this year.
Yeah, it's the Honda's always good. The final four holes are volatile. We see playoffs. There's drama every year. And I think like you're right. Like there's always been long shot winners that aren't going to like wow anyone from a rating standpoint. But like I was looking through when we did the Rotoballer show last night, we went back like 2 years and like you had the random winners, but like they were also, it's intriguing and compelling when a rando long shot like takes down a Goliath, right? Like we
Yeah.
were looking at the beginning of the schedule and it was like, yeah, well, Hudson Swafford won the Amex that year. Well, Hudson Swafford was going toe to toe with Scotty Scheffler down the stretch.
Yeah.
Luke List won at where did Luke List win at the
Torrey
Farmers?
against Zal.
Yeah, but he had to go against Zal, who was like the young hot stud at the time, who like we all wanted to watch Zal. Like now we're getting like it's okay that these guys are winning, but they're not giving us that compelling drama of like taking down an ultra elite on Sunday in the final 2-3 holes, which is what I think is missing, right?
Yeah. And honestly, I was thinking about this. The guys that have shown up the most this year are guys that actually have like real motivation to play well. Like it's been guys that just got their tour card through the DP World Tour or just got status on the PGA Tour through Corn Ferry and are trying to get into these elevated events. Those are the guys that like Grayson Murray, like Chris Kirk, like
Mhm.
has some motivation, I guess. Like he probably I don't know if he would have been in the elevated events next year. He
Right.
had some motivation. Grayson Murray, he had a ton of motivation. He wasn't getting a bunch of starts. Like all Dunlap, I mean, it's kind of hard to say,
Pavone,
but
yeah, like
obviously, like the guys that are playing the best are new guys on the PGA Tour because they're trying to get into these elevated events where the guys that are in the top 50, I feel like there is a lack of motivation to a certain extent a little bit. Like
yes.
obviously they want to win and do all this stuff, but just everything that's happened in professional golf over the past year, you got it. It's a large enough sample size where guys that have something to play for seem to be playing better this year.
Yes. And maybe we'll get it this week with like Rory, but though the best players on the PGA Tour right now, besides like Windy C, are not killers. Like
Yeah.
Xander, Cantlay, Victor, like that. They just don't strike any fear. And Live fucking took all those guys. Like
Yeah.
I'm more ready than ever for like an 8v8 or a 12v12 Live versus the PGA Tour because the live starting five, if we're like talking NBA all-star team of like Rom, DJ, Brooks, Cam, Bryson are like killers. And like I miss those guys. And I honestly feel like if those guys were still playing on the PGA tour, we would have some probably different results over the first 2 months.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Like I think Rom even though it's just like one guy kind of going. Like it's just I think Rom was a massive blow,
Yeah.
him leaving. Just because he is a guy that could win 4 times in a short amount of time. And
Yep.
it's not really feeling like any of those guys can. And I think at the same time, to a certain extent, it's just really hard to win on the PGA Tour.
Yeah. You're right.
And we just expect these guys to do it. But at the end of the day, it's just extremely hard no matter who you are. But the beginning of the season, like the guys that are winning, it just makes you think like Cam Young and Tommy Fleetwood have never won on the PGA Tour. And
No.
Jake Knapp, Matthew Pavone, fucking Grayson Murray has 2 wins. Like these guys are winning. They're playing in the same events.
Yeah.
They can
Xander
play in the
played
same
like
events.
everything. It's been like 2 years since Xander won. He's like the 4th best player in the world, and he can't beat these guys.
It's just crazy how, and it more just really shows again like how random winning on the PGA Tour is. Like you just have to kind of get hot for 4 days, and it doesn't like what has Grayson Murray done since he's won? Absolutely nothing. It doesn't matter if he won this year. He's in all the elevated events. He's in the Masters. Just get hot for 1 week versus guys like Cantley and Xander who are just like
Right.
no matter what, like they're gonna be there, but they don't seem to just flash and win. And it's just what do people value? It's like we want to see your name on the top of the leaderboard on Sunday. And
100%.
honestly, like this week, like this is absolutely not the place where it's like, yo, like Rory will be there on Sunday. Like,
Yeah.
like this is like Rory's coming out, like just did the match. Like we need Rory to get the PGA Tour going. It's like Honda's like not the spot to guarantee that at all.
You're right. There have been some like the best player in the field has shown up a number of times though, and sort of done that. Like, Rory did it when he was number 1 in the world. He won here. A few years ago, Brooks was the best player in the field and made that way into the playoff with Keith Mitchell. Justin Thomas was one of the best players in the field. Ricky was like 15-1 when he won here. Adam Scott and Sergio that year, I remember they kind of like dueled and they were 2 of the better players in the field that week. Sungjae M was like 30-1. So it's like there's volatility there that this course brings about, and some of them will embrace it. But I do think the best players in the world are the best ball strikers in the world. And this is a pretty good course for ball striking when you're on.
Yeah.
The problem is the penalty for an errant shot and a miss at Riv or at Torrey or at these other places is like you're just in the right rough and you're still fine. You're making par. The penalty for one bad swing here is a double bogey. And that's where it sort of eventually is going to keep nipping at your heels until it can kind of sink its teeth in.
Yeah, no, and I think like a wide variety of guys have won here, but it's also been certain, types of players.
Yeah.
Also this week, I think you're in agreement. Like before the change on 10, difficult conditions guy. After the change on 10, birdie makers.
Yes.
Like now it's a birdie fest. Like I need guys to go low. Before it's like I need grinders, but they change one hole, changes the entire course and outlook on it. I'm with you. It makes no sense that they changed.
It gives you a breather. Like I read the thing on PGAtour.com and they're like, well, there's a par 5 on number 3 and you really can't catch your breath and don't get another birdie hole until 18. But that's part of the allure of this place. So now you get that in the middle, but it's going to play so easy. It's good. Like the players were trying to act like Brendan Todd was like, oh, it's like driver. And if you hit a good 5 wood, like you'll be on the green. Like, yeah, but Rory's going to be hitting like 6 iron onto the green. And it's a huge wide green. Like they're just going to be eagles there. I would imagine the majority of players, it's going to be like the first at Riv where like you walk away with a par and you're getting crushed by the field there. It just doesn't fit with the vibe of the rest of the course now. So like, that's kind of why I'm not really for it.
Yeah. I think it's good tracking betting. Like I would rather pull up to a hole like, like let's make birdie here. Like, fuck yeah, he's on in 2 versus like my guy's got 7-footer for par. Like if he misses this, like we're toast.
Yeah.
So I think I'm happy for it from like a tracking perspective. Is it 10?
Yes, 10th
Yeah,
hole.
so the guys starting on 10, like early morning tracking, like let's get a birdie out the gate. Like
Yeah.
I enjoy that sweat versus like let's just get out of here with the par. So I guess
Right.
entertainment perspective, it might be a little bit
Yeah.
better.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how that plays. I'm down to talk some guys on the betting board this week. We
Cool.
talked a little bit about Rory. I don't think you're betting him. I hope he plays well. Again, this is a course he's had success on in earlier in his career. Was just flashing at the match last night. Like he's winning the Masters now. I have obviously no interest in Rory
Yeah,
this week. I
Rory
would
in that
never bet him.
banana yellow hoodie. Yeah, no, you can't bet him. You don't bet him 7-1. I'm interested in DraftKings just because the way that they did the giant pricing spectrum again of like $7,000 in difference between the top guy and the bottom. There's some names down there that could be attractive. So I don't mind starting your lineup with him. I do think that he'll play well. It was interesting because like he won and then he finished second, and then it was like miscut, T56. I'm never coming back to the Honda again in 2018. So like I'm kind of surprised he's here. Maybe having the match here sort of,
Yeah.
had something to do with that. But yeah, I think that I didn't really see much of it last night because I was on those two shows. But obviously he won. He should have won, and he's the favorite here. The big thing for me is like, who's the second best guy in the field? Because I don't think it's Cam Young. I think it's another guy. I don't know that he's a great course fit, but to me, it's Fitz.
Yeah, I think
Second best player.
the dichotomy between Fitz's world ranking and his odds every week is like crazy, and it just shows how much winning a major and an elevated event just boosts you because
True.
he has not had a consistent 2 years by any stretch of the imagination. He was very consistent before he won the US Open, but since then he's had a lot of really bad results, but he's just sparked up and won, and you could just be top 10 in the world by
Yeah.
that. But books don't even remotely think you're that type of player. Did you bet Fitz this
Yeah.
week? You
Yeah. I
bet
bet
him.
him early on Monday. It was 35-1. I still think there's like 28s out there, which I would bet. I think he's more likely to win than Henley or On or Cam Young. And it's weird because I do think that a couple of things with Fitz. I think that Florida is going to be a big benefit for him. This is where he practices. This is where he plays. He's always played. He doesn't really play here, but he's always played Bay Hill really well. He's had some good runs at the Valspar. And I like him on tough courses, man. Like
Yeah.
if winning scores between 5 and 15 under par, that's sort of been his sweet spot. He won a US Open. He won at Heritage at a similar score. If you look at where his best finishes have come, they're like, oh, a T2. And then you look at his score in that T2, and it's like, I was -8 and finished
Yeah.
second in that event at the Wells Fargo or whatever it is. So I think this is kind of in his wheelhouse. And I think he's just a lot more talented and accomplished than those other guys. And this is a course I think people may be over evaluating some of his form. He's always missed cuts. Like he's right behind Cantlay and Xander. He's not that guy that you pencil in a top 20. Like he's always 1 out of every 3 cuts he's going to miss. Even like looking before that US Open, you were right. He did have a good run in with some top 5s, but there's still missed cuts sprinkled
Yeah.
in. When he won the Heritage last year, I was
Yeah,
just
he was like really bad, popped at
terrible.
Masters, and then won.
Yes, he was terrible right before the Heritage. He missed a ton of cuts, and then it was missed 4 out of 5 cuts, and his best finish was T31 at the match play, and then he pops off and wins the Heritage. So
Yeah.
I just think he's a good player. That when he gets it going, he's a
Yeah,
second.
I agree. It's a good outright bet. Like, wouldn't nuke him top 20.
Right.
If he gets in the mix, he can win. This is theoretically a good course for him. The form hasn't been great, but at the end of the day, he could pop if he wins. Cam Young, I'm out on. I'm not betting Cam Young at 22-1. I'm sure he could play well, but I'm just kind of out there. Cole in general, I think you don't normally see. I know it just happened, kind of, but you don't normally see guys blow a tournament or like should have won and then just win it the next year. I know Nick Taylor
Correct.
just did that, but Nick Taylor like actually has guts and he just randomly wins and the field was way watered down. I don't see Cole like being this super consistent golfer, top 10 every week, and then he's going to get his win at the place he should have won last year at 100 to 1. That's
Yeah,
kind of my thing on Cole.
I think you're right. The Cole was a stubborn bet for me that I made early in the week. So Baroff and I were been texting about this event for like weeks, and I'm like, if Eric Cole has a 3 in front beside of his name, I'm going to bet him. And he comes out at 30 to 1. So I'm like, immediately, I said I was going to do this. It's a stubborn play. I'm betting Eric Cole. But then I kind of looked at the other guys around him at like 35 and 40, and I'm like, maybe I like some of these guys better. But we're in Florida. Like, this is where he makes his hay. This is his wheelhouse spot. It is. I do think it is a good course fit for him. He's pretty good with his irons. Like, just came off a top 10 at the Genesis, and dude finally took a week off. Like, holy shit. Like, maybe he's actually a little bit refreshed this week and ready to go. So I don't think it's a bad play. I think he will be, he's at that $9,900 price point on DK that everyone loves to click guys at because they feel like it's a discount. So we'll see where that kind of comes in. Oh, did I lose you? Can you guys see me? Okay. So you just have me. Kyle, I see in the comments, is BK gone? Can you still hear me? I'm the captain now, yeah. Okay, so we'll wait here for a minute. I'm down to chill. Anybody got any questions? Drop them in there. Let's talk. Let's chat. Tap in Birdie, baby. What's up, Kyle? What's up, my boy? Lord BLT, I see in here. BK gone. Solo screen. Have it your way. BK. Favorite long shot. Okay, so I'll let it slide. I have the video coming out for Rotoballer, but I took 3 guys. Hubbard's 100 to 1. Too big of a number. He's made like 5 out of 6 cuts at the Honda. Nobody does that here. And he had an awesome approach week at the Farmers. Gained 8 strokes on approach. One of the best weeks of the year with his irons. Think it's a good course fit. Was decent in Mexico. And then I was one of the people on like the 200 to 1 CT pans. Top 3 last week. Was ready to fire on that number. Was surprised. I think even some people had 300 to 1 out there. It came out on FanDuel on Monday. Absolutely outrageous number. He's finished in the top 15 twice here in the last couple of years. Good course fit for CT Pan. And then there's a lot of Kims in the field. So you have Tom Kim, not betting him. Michael Kim, not betting him. SH Kim, not betting him. Chan Kim, I took Chan Kim. We've had 2 winners in 7 or 8 events from the Korn Ferry graduates from last year. Chan Kim was number 2 on the Korn Ferry points list. He won back-to-back events in the late summer. He played really well in Mexico last week. He played well and finished top 15 in an event earlier this season. I want to say it was either Phoenix or the American Express. But either one of those events, I think, are somewhat of a decent comp here. And I like Chan Kim. He played well last week. It's been the year of the Korn Ferry grads. I think he was one of the most accomplished ones last year. And much like Grayson Murray and Jake Knapp, these 2 guys were not 21-year-old Korn Ferry grads straight out of the University of Arkansas. They are grizzled veterans who came back to get their tour card. Chan Kim is the oldest one to get his card this year. He's really solid, all around player, good putter. Like me some Chan Kim. 5, 10, 20 FP parlay. I'm not sure what that means. Gim will win in Palm Beach. So funny that you mentioned that. I was looking back because I put my little betting cards and make these little graphics on them. I bet Doug Gim here 2 years ago at 25 to 1 to win the Honda. And I'm like, what world Was I thinking that Doug Ginn was a good 25-1 bet? He's played well a couple weeks, and all of a sudden he pops back up and he's ready at like, what is he, 40-1? What's Doug Ginn's price right now? Dougie Gim, where you at? Doug Gim, 60-1. Okay. 8th in bogey avoidance. Solid off the tee and approach. T8, T12, T13, his last 3 starts. Missed 3 straight cuts at the Honda. That was one of those years, I think, in 2022 when he's 25-1. There you go. Check Gim's accuracy stats. Yeah, there we go. Brad's got him at 55. All right, Brad. I feel you there. Dude, am I just running tap at TIB now?
Do we have Joe?
Yeah, you got me.
Can't see Joe.
I'm host.
Dude, what the
You
hell is
can't see
going
me?
on? No, I can. Can you hear me?
I don't know. I think I just took over your show.
Dude, my
Can you
Wi-Fi
hear me?
just completely. Yes.
Okay. Do you see me?
My Wi-Fi just completely went out at my house. I have no clue what happened.
Yeah, you froze up big time in the middle of. I don't even remember what I was talking about. I think I was going off on it. My Eric Cole bet.
I feel absolutely terrible. I'm so sorry.
I don't care.
My Wi-Fi just completely. I can't connect to it in my house. I don't know
Dude,
what happened.
it's happened to me. When you run these shows, it's happened to you. The caddy here says new show. Who dis? Like we were answering some questions in the chat.
No, we're fine. Like we're all good. You bet Cole. He's your guy this week.
Yep.
I like sub 40. I bet Ben on early in the week. I got a 40. He's 28 right now. I've kind of been waiting to deploy him since the Sony after he broke my heart. And like, I think this is a better spot for him. Am I super confident he's going to win? Absolutely not. Like, I do not think that he's absolutely has the guts to win on the PGA Tour. But at 40-1, at 30-1, at a place he's played well at, more of a ball striker's course, like I'm in, but I do not have high expectations.
Would you make the bet now at 25-1? Still,
no, I would not.
No?
Like I think like 33 would be my buy number.
What about how do you feel about Steven Yeager?
I bet him.
Are you a Yeager guy?
Like I used to bet him over the summer, like at like 80-1 at the Rocket Mortgage. Like that was kind of my vibe. Betting Stefan Yeager. But now he's leveled up. Like ever since this calendar has kind of turned, like I think Yeager's an excellent golfer, and I think he needed Torrey. He's like never contended ever before that. And I like him on Bermuda. He's played here 3 times. I think he finished top 20 here last year, so he's kind of trending in that right direction. I like him in medium scoring. I bet Yeager, like in on Yeager.
Okay, cool. I'm in on Yeager
you bet
too.
him? You
yeah,
bet
I got 45 on Yeager. Top 3 in 2 of his last 3 starts. I think that he's trending very positively. I think that you mentioned a lot of the stats sort of line up for what I'm looking for here. It's gotten sneaky long off the tee, which I think will suit him well at a course like this. And like I hear what you're saying about and Byron was kind of pushing back on me a little bit, and he was like, "Yeah, but is Steven Yeager going to win?" And I'm like, "I get that, but like." Look at what we've seen this season. Like, were you going to tell me Grayson Murray or Jake Knapp was going to win? Like, you wouldn't have been confident in that. Look at the last 3 winners here. Like, Matt Jones is not a winner. Sepp Straka is no prolific winner.
No.
Chris Kirk, when he won this, hadn't won in like 10 years. So it's like not a place where like if you're not a prolific like DNA win golf tournaments like Sam Burns or Wyndham Clark, who like guys who get in contention that come through, Brooks. These guys, like, it's okay. Like, this may be a decent spot for you, and confidence should be high for Yags.
Yeah, I'm in on Yags. Like, again, am I super confident he'll get it done? No, but I think he could put himself in position. What I know we're a bit behind. I bet Poston. I don't love it, though. Where do you net out on Poston? Like, Poston's a guy I think is extremely talented. Like, I think that he's taken the next step on the PGA Tour. He's played here a bunch, no great results. I read in Steve Bamford's article that like 1 year he was top 5 going to the final round and just shot terribly.
Mhm.
Like in a vacuum, this course isn't um this course does not scream Poston for me,
Yeah.
but I've just been riding it and I like the way he's been playing and I like that he's played here and I just kind of took a shot at 35.
Look, I don't mind it. I didn't bet him. I have so many other guys sort of in that range. So Poston's been
Yeah.
but okay, rule out Eric Cole because he plays every week. But of those other guys between like Cam Young, Fitz, Henley, Ben On, Min Woo, like Poston's been playing better than all of them by a wide
Yeah.
margin. And I don't love the course fit. You know what kind of turned me off to him? I was listening to my boy DB over with Tour Junkies, and he knows Poston and Fleener well. And DB said something like Poston does not like this place and hates the wind. And the wind is a fucking weird thing down here, particularly in South Florida. It essentially swirls, gusts out of nowhere, and you can't feel it at PGA National. It's so weird.